It has been 6 years since we had new Konosuba content like this. The last time we had an episode was in 2017 of January. And when you really take a moment to think about that time period, 2017, so much has happened since then. The whole world has basically changed. The landscape of anime, and not even just anime, everything has changed. And it's wild to me how long it's been. And finally, the wait is over. We have the new spin-off series of Konosuba, Megumin's Explosive World. I'm so happy with how this episode turned out. So, let's get right into it. Let's talk about this fantastic first episode and kind of get everybody up to speed of what to expect and what this is, what it's about, etc. Is this season 3? Is this not season 3? Is this canon? Is this not canon? Let's just answer all these questions and get right into it. So basically, if you are unaware, Konosuba as a series, like the light novel series that it's based on, is over. It's a completed series. Now, I don't know if there is still spin-off stories or whatever being written, but the main actual official Konosuba series is done, which is why Season 3 got announced and why we're going to be getting a Season 3, because it's probably going to cover all of the remaining content of the light novels within Season 3. Now, to clarify, I'm not a light novel reader. I am completely anime only. I've only watched what the anime has offered up to this very point, and obviously my wait, my patience has been worth it, because here I am sitting down and watching new content of Konosuba. But basically, the main series is over. And this spin-off series that Megumin is based on, like this story that we're currently getting animated, is also completed, as I'm aware. And the thing is that this is canon content. That this is basically a prequel story taking place before the events of Episode 1 of Konosuba Season 1, and showcasing what led Megumin to being such a crazy, magic user, using explosion magic, and just how deranged she really can be. This is the origin story of her character. And the big thing, or the big question, I think many were wondering and questioning themselves when they were thinking about this series, if like they're anime only such as myself, can Megumin carry an entire series on her shoulders? Because that is the huge question to ask yourself. When you think about the very essence of, like, Konosuba, okay? Like, what it is, what's going on for it with Season 1, Season 2, etc. You know, the very essence of Konosuba is the comedy, but also, like, Kazuma, Aqua, Megumin, and Darkness. Those four characters being wacky together and doing just some shenanigans that's just outright hilarious. And obviously, Megumin has a very big, important role within Konosuba. You know, Season 1 and Season 2, and she always shines. She stands out as a character. She definitely has a lot of life and flair to her, not just counting the explosion magic, obviously, but she is a legitimately very energetic character that definitely steals the show when she's on screen. But still, without her companions, like, Kazuma, Aqua, and Darkness, could she theoretically carry a show to make it engaging enough for people to enjoy it and say, you know what, I want more of this content? And at the end of the day, that is up to the viewer to decide. It's up to the viewer to decide if she's able to carry the series for them or not. Personally, to me, she does. I've always been a fan of Megumin and her character and just the over-the-top explosion and how just everything explodes. I love it. I absolutely love Megumin as a character. She's always been one of my favorite characters of all of Konosuba, and so having a spin-off on her instantly just makes me happy. But we gotta talk about the first episode, so let's dive in deep. So, obviously, when you look at this episode, it definitely feels like Konosuba. Obviously, cutting out, the main characters, like Kazuma, Aqua, and all that. But, it feels very much like, Konosuba, but it feels like a little bit more of a serious take than the previous seasons, and hear me out on that. So, yes, I mean, if I really want to talk about, there's a lot of comedy in this. We have some chuny moments, as you can see on screen here. There's a lot of funny stuff. And the typical antics of, like, Yunyun, what happens to her throughout the story of Konosuba happens as well within, this episode. But it seems to kind of want to emphasize the actual serious development of Megumin and how she eventually led to being a part of Kazuma's party in Season 1 and Season 2. And I do like this. It's kind of like Konosuba, but a little bit more serious, which is shocking, honestly, when you think about the content that we're covering, because obviously we're following Yunyun and Megumin and their journey to becoming some of the strongest individuals within their verse. We know how strong Megumin is. Jokes aside and how deranged she is and all that, her explosion magic is literally no joke. We have seen that back to back throughout episodes. So, Because of that, I'm just surprised with how serious it is, but at the same time, it manages to keep the tone of what makes the series so good. Now, what I mean by that is that we have teachers and stuff that we get to see within this episode in the very, I guess, like ethics of the school, what they're trying to teach, like Megumin and these other students, is how to actually be, magic users, what they need to do, the most important lesson, so to speak. And one of the most important lessons that they learn very quickly on is that they need to look cool. That, they need to be flashy, they need to look cool. The very school is called Red Prison, for hell's sake. And so when you think about, just how the teachers, the most important aspect is, not being powerful, it's not, having just, this speech, it's about seeming very cool and having poses, I'm laughing, because it's like, everything that we see demonstrated within this is exactly what Megumin goes on to do in Season 1 and Season 2. This literally is the Chuny school. It is the school to teach these individuals how to be more Chuny, act like, 8th grade syndrome kids, and just do some ridiculous stuff in the story. I legitimately like that. And the world building as well is really nice. I mean, we get a little bit more details on kind of, what inspired, Megumin to want to have explosion magic. I mean, literally, the episode begins where she meets this individual that's like, oh, I'm a very powerful mage, could I give you anything? What kind of wish do you ask? And in typical Megumin fashion, her first response was world domination. And I'm just like, yeah, that's Megumin as a character, 100%, that's exactly what she would say. And then after that, she looks at this character's chest, is like, I want a big chest, and I'm like, yeah, Megumin, I'm sorry, you're a little bit cursed, you're not gonna get that, that's not happening. And then, eventually, she's like, okay, then, I want you to fix my puzzle. And just, the way she talks about these different wishes is hilarious, because you would expect Megumin would be like, explosion magic first. But that's not the case. She's like, world domination, big chest, all that, and I'm just like, okay, that's, fascinating, but also a nice little insight into her character and kind of what eventually led her to just loving explosion magic to such a high degree throughout the story. But besides that, though, I do think that overall, the first episode of this Megumin series is legitimately fun. It is absolutely everything I wanted, and more, honestly. I was a little bit skeptical, even though I was kind of under the impression it was going to be okay. I was a little bit skeptical that, Megumin might struggle to really make me invested in the show just by herself, especially since this is technically a prequel. I'm impressed. By the way, speaking of characters, we had narration of, Kazuya, why am I saying Kazuya? I'm thinking of Rent-A-Girlfriend. We had narration of Kazuma in this episode. He actually narrated the beginning of this episode, and he talks about Megumin and her story and how she becomes deranged. And I like the little jab that he throws at her. It's pretty funny, honestly. And then even the visuals at the end of, the episode, I'm assuming this is the opening song, it's nice. I mean, it seems like the studio that is working on this is really trying to replicate the original designs as well of Season 1 and Season 2, so I don't see really any problems there. And speaking of art and animation, I guess that is something important to talk about. It looks good. I don't think it's like anything that is crazy and, jaw-dropping, so to speak. I mean, the only thing that's really jaw-dropping, which should be jaw-dropping, is definitely the explosion magic that you can see on screen. Anytime you have something like this that's demonstrated a few times in the episode, the art animation just takes a huge jump into some crazy levels. But besides that, it remains very, consistent, typical art animation style, and nothing that really stands out that says, like, this is horrible or whatever. So yeah, first episode of Konosuba, the spinoff. Good. If you have not watched it, you really should. This is definitely for all those fans of Konosuba that's missed this series for the comedy, but also the characters. And the fact that, Yunyun is in this series as well, and she's going to get a little bit more spotlight, makes me happy, because if anyone's watched my original Konosuba videos, talking about Megumin, or not Megumin, just Yunyun, I always felt bad for Yunyun. She was always treated like a background character. She was always just thrown to the side, ignored, etc. And obviously that trope is still playing a part within this first episode, and I'm going to assume it's going to continue. But the fact that, we get to see multiple instances of Megumin kind of trying to treat her nice and, kind of sitting it out, and it seems like she just doesn't want to do work for that class. She's trying to help out Yunyun to stand out or try to get better and talk with people. I do like these little, moments with Yunyun and Megumin, and I like getting to see this different side of the relationship that we didn't get to really see a lot within the first two seasons. But okay, I guess I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you want more, let me know in the comments below. May you all have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.